जी चालू हो गया है ना? लिंक भेजिए उसको ज्वाइन करें 10 ग्रुप में। हाँ
हेलो
हेलो सर, आप ऐड हो गए ना? ठीक है सर।
Hello, good morning, sir.
we are getting into it. Okay, fine.
ओके ओके सर, थैंक यू सर। Good morning, sir. Our today's keynote speaker, Honorable M.A. KHADER, sir, is amongst us. We welcome you, sir, on behalf of entire Columbia family.
सब बगने
Sir is asking something.
Yes, sir.
ഇത് ഇവിടെ
എന്നെ കാണുമ്പോ ക്യാമറ ഓൺ
എന്റെ മൊബൈൽ വേണ്ടേ
ആ.
ഓൺ ചെയ്ത് തരും.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Fine, fine, so nice to see you. Nice of you, sir. Can you
Sir,
hear
shall
me?
we start the? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, can you make the sound? You don't have sound over there.
Sir, shall we start the program?
Slightly up, it's not coming. All right,
Sir, it's all set. Greetings of the day from Columbia family. Welcome to all participants in this essential national lecture series on the National Education Policy, a way forward for quality education. I am Dr. Abha Dubey, Vice Principal, Columbia College. Extend my warmest welcome to you all. Today, we are honored to have a remarkable personality, Honorable KHADER sir, former professor, NCRT. I would like to extend a warm welcome to you, sir, on behalf of entire Columbia family. I also welcome our principal, Honorable Dr. Arun Kumar Dubey, sir, all the delegates joining us from across India. We are delighted to have more than 600 distinguished individuals representing nearly every state of India with us. This 4 days lecture series commenced yesterday on 16th October, and it was all about and encompassing an overview of the national education policy by Honorable Dr. Ramesh Chandraji Kothari. Today, our resource person is Professor M.A. KHADER from NCERT, who will enlighten us about the critical perspective of National Education Policy 2020. On the 18th of October, Dr. Taruna Chaudhary Dhar, a former professor at the Institute of Teacher Training and Research, will elucidate the NEP and its relationship with sustainability from a behavioral perspective. On the last day, that is on 19th October, there will be a valedictory session in which Professor Prashant Srivastava, the Dean of Student Welfare at Hemchand Yadav Vishwavidyalaya, Durg, Chhattisgarh, will join us as our chief guest. The technical session will be addressed by the Honorable Professor Rishikesh Senapati sir. Shedding session will be addressed by shedding light on curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment in a specific reference to NEP 2020. Each session will be followed by a question and answer series. If you have any queries, please feel free to ask in the YouTube chat box, and we'll do our best to address your doubts. On behalf of entire Columbia family, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Now I will extend a warm invitation to Principal Sir to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Abha. Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you. It is with great joy and enthusiasm that I extend my warmest welcome to each and every one of you to this highly anticipated national lecture series on National Education Policy 2020, a way forward for quality education. A topic of paramount importance. I cordially offer my salutations to the distinguished keynote speaker, Professor KHADER, former Professor NCERT. I extend a sincere and warm welcome to our Secretary Sir, Honorable Mr. Harjit Singh Hura Sir. He is not available here due to some urgent work. Whenever he will free, he join us. I also extend my heartfelt greetings to all participants, academicians, professors, research scholars, students who have been associated with us for achieving the aim of the program. It is very important to understand NEP 2020 with all its dimensions along with the challenges and explore the critical analysis for its effective implementation. So today's session is all about the same. We'll definitely develop some new insights with Professor KHADER sir. I again welcome to Professor Dr. KHADER sir and all of you. Thank you.
I kindly invite Ms. Gopika Sinha to provide a brief introduction of Professor KHADER sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, all of you. I am Gopika Sinha. Welcome to the most amazing national lecture series on National Education Policy 2020, a way forward for quality education. I take this opportunity to welcome today's keynote speaker, Professor M.A. KHADER sir, former professor, NCERT, New Delhi. His education policies, analysis and planning, Harvard Institute for International Development, Harvard University, USA. PhD, Dr. Zakir Hussain Studies, School of Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. MPhil, Zakir Hussain Center for Educational Studies, School of Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. MEd, Department of Education, Central Institute of Education, Delhi University. MA Psychology, Department of Psychology, University of Kerala, Tiruvananthapuram. Positions: Principal, Regional Institute of Education, NCERT, Ajmer, and Dean Faculty of Education, Ajmer University, Ajmer, Rajasthan. Principal Regional Institute of Education, NCRT, Bhubaneswar, and Dean Faculty of Education, Utkal University, Bhubaneswar, Orissa. Head Curriculum, Group NCRT, New Delhi. Member Secretary, National Steering Committee for Development of National Curriculum Framework, NCF 2005. Director of SCRT, Kerala. Chairman, Steering Committee for School and Teacher Education Curriculum Reform, Government of Rajasthan 2012 to 2014. Chairman, Appeal Committee, NCTE, New Delhi 2014 to 2019. Currently Chairman, School of Education Reform Committee, Government of Kerala. Your contribution in the field of education is incomparable. I'm sure we will be enriched by the National Lecture Series. Once again, I welcome sir and all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopika ma'am. Sir, we are eagerly waiting to listen to you. Please enlighten us with your vast source of knowledge regarding a critical perspective of National Education Policy 2020, sir. I welcome you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. For let me at the outset thank you all, particularly the principal, Dr. Arun Kumar Dubey sir, and also other members of the faculty for giving opportunity, and also Abba Dubey for inviting me to participate in this program. Really, thank you. Thank you so much. And I also appreciate the institution and the team of led by Dr. Dubey for initiating such areas for a dialogue or for a discussion and enlighten the groups. I hope such a discussions will enrich the academic flavor of the institution as well as the community of teachers and teacher educators. Thank you so much. Friends, I think I'll be able to, I had to stop at what time? Any idea? Forget about. Can you tell me? Sorry. Now it is 12:17 or something, 12:15 over. All right.
Yes, sir. By 1 o'clock, sir.
Nothing is heard. Sorry. Sir. All right. Before stopping, 5 minutes before you signal me. That's enough. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Principal sir, there is some problem, not audible. നമ്മളെയാണോ? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
തണ്ടിലാക്കിയാലോ? അല്ല പിന്നെ അല്ല ഇതിലാക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ? It's better. Sorry, 1 minute. There is some technical problem and nothing is coming.
Yes, sir. It's okay, sir.
ഇതിൽ എന്ത് പറ്റിയപ്പോ? Mute ആയിപ്പോയി. ഇതിലാപ്പോ താഴെ ആയിപ്പോയത്.
രണ്ടും കൂടെ ഒന്നിച്ച് വെക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You are audible.
Audible, sir.
Audible?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry about it. Well, friends, if anything problem, if you can't hear, just raise your hand. That's enough for me. Okay, can you hear me? Shall I proceed? Shall
Yes,
I
sir,
proceed?
you are audible, sir. You can.
All right, thank you. Sorry for the mishap. I'm so sorry, extremely sorry about it. Anyway, now the policy, when you take in any policy, you take, the policy sets the guideline or the pathway for moving forward for actions in a particular area, any area you take it, whether it's health, education, agriculture, power, or any area. And a policy means the guideline that you can set for developmental actions in that area of operations. That means, or study, or any area of development. Now here, the policy, education policy, this is not the first time we are having a policy. We had policies too. But the main point here is a policy stipulate. This policy speaks about a holistic, of course, nothing new about it. There is always, we talk about holistic development of the individual in tune with the whole potentials to develop. And as a result, they visualize that they will transform the nation or the society and also create a vibrant knowledge society and high quality education to all. This is what mainly they propose to attain it through this policy or while implementing it. Well, let's see whether to what extent it goes on. So mainly I'll focus on the key aspects of it. So any policy when you take, you'll find, particularly in education, the first thrust they give a structure of schooling system education. The structure here, I mean, here you look at, you'll find a structure like an earlier KHADER Commission came, that policy, 68 policy had a 10 plus 2 plus 3 patterns. Now, the point here is now this time they're suggesting it 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. See, this sort of basic approach shift, structural changes they're talking about it. Structural change, I mean, it's, see, initially when you take anything, any area, you have a structure, the key idea of a structure, then only the functions can come. Without a structure, you can't have functions. See, our body system, we have a structure, each one of us. Based on the structures, the functions come. All right, that's why, same way the institution has got a structure. Based on that functions, according to the structure, the functional aspect will come in. I'm not going detail into it, otherwise it takes time. Same way when you take it here, our structure, we take, why do we have a preschool, initial phase of primary class 1 and 2 together, 5 years, and make it then 3 primary, and then, part of 3, then you'll have a 4-year secondary form, and so on. So totally you make it up this way, divisions, why do they create it? If you take the structure, the entire schooling system is based on, you have to critically reflect it. You'll find that, they are all rooted on stage approach in education. This stage means the education is meant for whom? Children. So the children are growing individuals. There are different stages. According to the stage, these things are structured. That's why the reason you take the case, textbooks, a curriculum, activities, curriculum, text, evaluation. They're all different from each stage to another stage. You don't have the textbook of class 1 same as class 5 in Hindi or Malayalam or any Oriya, Bengali, or class 10 or 12. Why it differs? Even the graduate program. Same if you take it in the approach in teaching, the examination system, the duration, if you take it, the type of questions they ask it, they all differ from stage to stage. Moreover, if you take the case of a teacher, you have different levels of teachers and different levels of qualifications. You don't have a secondary level teacher as a qualification different from elementary. For preschool, the qualification is different. The universities say the qualification is different. See, why is it this? That's why the answer you fall back on stage approach in. So in fact, any things when you look into it, critically you have to reflect, see that idea, whether it works. Then you can formulate a policy aspect of it. So now you have to link this stage approach with not only the teacher qualifications, curriculum, textbook, evaluation, when the classroom process, and so on and so forth. You find variations take place. Really in the classroom, does it happen? That's not a question you have to reflect it, which I'll come to that point a bit later. When you look at this early stage itself, they give main emphasis on preschool system. The emphasis on preschool system point out that they give the policy thrust on numeracy and literacy aspects too. More child-centric approaches, wherein a children can discover, inquire, learn, that sort of things they talk about. But if you find and go to the preschool system, even there, any system except the government, I think, do you think that the way they practice it according to the policy stipulations? I've seen schools who are having entrance test. They're having preschool examinations like the other children. Is it more? These are the one thing you have to look at it. The policy matters, the people, academics to look into it, whether it is really functioning. That's the way. Now, they also talk about, when you come, these structures to provide support to the children all learn and so on. They talk about one side, the private quality education or teachers, but the other side they talk about, they critically look at it, say that you found the national tutors, mainly they meant for, in the form of bright children in the higher class, they will act as guiding forces, or volunteer teachers, women, local personnel, and so on. See, with the support of local such sort of volunteers, can you ensure quality education? Or do you need really quality teachers too? That's one point I think you should think about it. Anyway, even if it happens that these 10 plus 3, one main point we have to look into is this document you go through it, they'll keep, not when you talk about curriculum, they think about, they focus on certain terminology, certain basic concepts like critical thinking, creativity, reasoning, collaborative work, digital literacy, and so on. They also talk about science aspect, development, humanities, language, arts, sports, and so on things. But one point is, we should think about why the critical thinking they talk about. When you start talking, basically, when you say thinking, the essential part is thinking. When you say critical thinking, is entirely different from just thinking about it. When you say critical thinking, which means based on critical analysis of things, simply means you question anything. You have to raise questions, so not simply listening. Raise questions. I'll give you an example of it. You have seen children failing in certain subjects, like language or science or maths. Then you ask parents or anybody, or even teachers, we ask this question to teachers. We ask the children, why do children fail in language, in their own mother tongue? Their answer is simple. Invariably, when we ask their answer, irrespective state or medium or anything, the answer is, or parents illiterate, unpade, or they say that the child doesn't come on time, he doesn't learn, he's interested in play, and so on. This sort of answers too. They don't see the school is responsible or teacher is responsible. Then he changes the question to cut short the story. Then we ask a question, why does the school fail the children? Then they started changing. This is a critical question. You have to change the style of looking at things. See, your own building, your college is situated in a particular spot. You look at the front side, you'll get a view. You get the back and look at a different view. You go on the top and look down, you get a different view. Which angle you look at things. This is basically what it meant, essentially critical reflections. You question things that we need to promote in the learning process. That's an essential part for constructivist approach. We want to say, look at construction. You are all teachers. You have teacher training every year. You have 50 students admit in your program or 100 students. Suppose you go to class and teach children. Suppose half an hour you give a lecture on learning, let's say assume, or on philosophical theme. Then at the end you ask children, whatever I taught, lectured you half an hour, you write a summary of these points, summary of what I taught. In one page, you write it. You ask these 50 students in your class, totally 50 students in your class, first year B.Ed or 2-year B.Ed or whatever. You ask the students. There are 50 students in your class, all the 50 will write in a sheet of paper. Do you think all the 50 will have the same answer? It will never happen. Why is it? The same thing you taught, idea may be same, but each one puts the idea in its own, her own way. That is construction. It differs. The mentally create ideas, each one differs the way you put the ideas to. That's the difference. So never ever, a teacher should not expect children learning stage, write the same language what the teacher says to the child. It should say the idea, not in the same language of the teacher. You may have changed the language. Expressions, you will change it. That's what we have to, originality if you want to create it. Creativity, you want to promote it. You should encourage the child creative. But the document never speaks about construction. Simply say the process. Now, the process of learning is never articulated in the document. More critical is the process of learning. How children learn, how the teacher creates conditions for learning. You take the document, go on searching it. You find that only mentions there are active methods you should use it, or more problem solving, discovery and all. But how the process of learning comes up. See, without the process, how do you reach the end, the product? You can't have it. Without process, no product you can produce. So your own development, each one of us development, there is a process. So your own college functioning, there is a process for it. So the point here is how you try to transform the curriculum part when you come. The emphasis on the curriculum is essentially to transform. There is a transformation take place. Now, give an example. In society, it happens. See, take the case of your own transport system. Same way, your any utensils, your house or your cloth or anything, these are gradually evolved over generations, centuries. For instance, your own transport system. Initially, man used to walk. Even now we walk. There's no other mode of, then man carrying man along with that. Then animals, using animals too. Then you find that there is the wheel came in, then they gradually changed the wheel, the animal bullocks, the mechanized form started coming in. Then you'll find the trucks, car, and so on, buses. Then you have now more multiple mode. Train, road, sea, and then you find plane. Even each sector also there are variations, slowly evolved. So gradual transformation takes place. is all this, if you think, is a result of man's thinking. Human beings thinking. May not be you and I. The ancient man started thinking like they transmitted, gradually developed. The thought is an essential component in our development and learning and professional practice. It's a thought process to be changed. That's essentially in teaching learning process when you come in. That's what the main idea here, thinking. Do we promote teacher educators and teachers, do promote thinking process of children? I think you should critically reflect it. The reason is, without thinking, you'll be getting information teachers are trying to transmit. Whatever given in a textbook, you keep on telling it. It is a failure. It's not teaching. It's not for developing the child. You are fulfilling your job. That's all. And the teacher educator should question ourselves, are we doing the right thing? Are we promoting process of learning? Are we promoting children's learning, children's development? These are questions that we should have. So the process of thinking, essential. We should teach to promote thinking, not only transmit information or knowledge. Only through this knowledge can be developed. Another aspect, when you look into it, the language part has its own policy, talks about mother tongue up to at least class 5 primary stage, and or can go up to 8. Of course, they give him also focus on classical language and so on, which I don't want. And of course, there's a policy of 3 language formula and so on. It exists. And also they talk about, when you talk about the textbook aspect comes in, then the national textbook they talk. Meaning there is a core component should come national level that states can vary with reference to local ideas and so on, or basic concepts. These are all aspects we linked it. But main question is curriculum, when you plan it, critically you look at it, each culture should have its own reflections in the curriculum. It's a material. Then the children will learn, understand the idea of it. Then the mother tongue, the cultural practice, the cultural ideas, and so on. That's the essence when you go on. But throughout the document, if you look at it, what we see is one major thing, which I think you can also look into it. You'll find it. Whole emphasis on examination, achievement. The whole focus in the document is achievement. They never give that much emphasis on the document, the process of learning. You yourself learn it and see it. Achievement is the product. See, look at the way achievement, they start doing it. Achievement, they start. Achievement, what they're talking it. You look at the document, if you find that they examination 358. 358, they are talking about it. And also besides class 10 and which means there should be a centralized mechanism of examinations in class 3 or class 5, class 8, this also. So means too much emphasis on a centralized mechanism of examinations. See, that will determine his progress, child's development, and so on. Which means the whole learning is reduced to what you call assessment. That's a basic problem. This is all done because we are trying to go with principles of this corporate approach or market-based approach in education. Market-based approach is basically two main motives: profit. This is gained by two options: choice and competition. You see, any of the industries based on multiple options are available, anything cloth or anything products, all the competitive mode. When it comes into it, that principle we adopt it. When you have schools and now many things are going into institution education, getting into private system, which means basically the competition choice means, of course, you have choice. Which institution you want to go, you have options. Multiple options available. Course system. There will be competition. That's where the competition comes in. Quality they try to maintain. That's what argument is. So quality means you compete with the institutions. But their argument is government system, there won't be any competitions. That's what they argue. But the problem comes in when there is it will affect the community of teachers, the systems, basically. One example. Once it comes heavily, the competitive system, particularly the private one, comes the market-based approach, the teacher, the burdens on the teacher basically get to which is profitable, they'll adopt it. What I mean is, adopt in the sense, teachers' benefits will reduce. See, mostly they will go for not a permanent system, but a contractual or temporary. The system of pay will be reduced. The benefits will be reduced. That's what happened to the corporate approach. You don't have a real pension, what you get now may not be there. So in short, a competitive world we want, main thrust is on standards. Maintain standards. Maintain standards mainly through achievement or assessment. Through assessment, you get a score. It's a 68% or all A plus or A. They are observable, quantified, observable. So a policymaker is interested in observable or quantifiable terms. When you say about achievement comes in, he knows everything is fine. All children are passing or getting A or A plus. They think that excellent system. So, but the assumption here is once achievement, well, the process of learning, but it not be the classroom learning itself. The child will go for tuition, some other engagement, they will make up. That's a tragedy of this examination-oriented approach that you pursue. For that purpose, they suggest what you call National Testing Agency. We have seen it working. The whole entrance also, whole thing based on testing it, a national level institution test for every admission to every class in the state or university and so on. So that's a different matter, that's affecting it. The institution importance is reduced. A centralized control mechanism, the policy of students, admissions and all go. Like it's something like SAT, the American system. American system SAT is a problem now. For like a state of Florida state has gone against it. We can't, because they found American children are not getting chance, other migrant children are making it. Now they removed SAT there. Each institution can have its own mechanism, selection. See, this is why centralized system has its own strong weakness points. So when you have to do it, quality, particularly with regard to equity, how do you address it? Every child should get opportunity, difficult. You can't. So these are so many issues come up. Anyway, I just point out, then there comes a question of complexes, school complexes, two methods. Teacher education, you should look into it. The critical point. Because the time factor, I'll come to that point. I think I'll have less time now. Am I correct? Hello?
Yes, sir.
How much time I have? 2 more.
So you have time till 1 o'clock, sir.
Then how long? How many
20,
more?
20 minutes, sir. 20 minutes.
All right. Thank you. So nice of you. Now, the 2 points basically I want to make it. One is you to get teacher education. The police suggest good idea when you talk about 4-year program, integrated teacher education. Now the document is come out. It's already started. Actually, it is in practice. 4-year course is not a new thing. It was existing from late 60s in India. It was instituted in NCERT institution like RI's, Regional Institute of Education, Bhopal, from 60s, late 60s. Mysore, Ajmer, Bhopal, Ajmer, Bhubaneswar, and so on. Now it is Northeast also. Now only they are large scale, they are trying to transform it, to implement it, for-scale programs. Okay. Now the question is, this 4-year program, the content pedagogy integrated way it happens. What is the component of it? We have to look into it. Does it make a difference in the approach as compared to B.Ed program? Simply saying 4-year, simply making it integrated in terms of what you call all 3-year degree course or 4-year degree course, 1-year B.Ed and all putting together, things will not change the quality of teacher. I like to illustrate it. I'll show you small video right now. Then you yourself can understand it. There is some serious problem with teacher education. You should ask a question. Even the policy doesn't go in. They only say the 4-year program. You can also have 2-year B.Ed. Even 1 year, maybe some people who are with a master's degree or graduate or other graduates too. See? So you have a multiple. See, MBBS, you want to become a doctor. You should, I think, teacher education should seriously think about it. When you have a doctor, 4-year course, MBBS, only MBBS is there. Not 2-year MBBS, 5-year MBBS, 4-year MBBS. No, there is no such things. When you have a BTech, 4-year course, or 3-year, 4-year course, or 5-year course, BTech is there. Only one course, with variations maybe. Not like the teacher education. Why the teacher education boards only? They treat it like this, the policy makers. Even teacher, you're responsible. I'm also party to it. Unfortunately, we are very sorry about it. See, and moreover, you see that elementary, preschool, you have a diploma, primary diploma, then you have a graduate, a postgraduate, it's a different level. Which means the basic principle you are adopting is lower the level, lesser the knowledge, lower the level. The level is high, more knowledge. This is the way teacher should go in. Teacher should be a person with a sound theoretical knowledge. Sound knowledge based way. It's a material. You know, there are countries in this world where teacher means highly knowledgeable person will have a master's degree, whether to preschool, elementary, secondary, any stage, it's a master's degree, essentially. Shouldn't we have a master's degree? What harm in having a good teacher with a knowledge of teacher at the preschool? Master's degree. Do you think only higher level should be there? That's a wrong practice. We should follow it. There's you take the case example of Finland. This is the best example of it. So there are series of problems. See, whenever you have a teacher, for example, now graduates, 3-year or 4-year, now the 4-year course is coming. After that, B.Ed, you do it. You want to become PG, then you leave the B.Ed system, education, go to a subject university for it. That means you are changing the track, like getting away from what you call meter gauge to the broad gauge train. It's a wrong approach. We have conceived it, but very difficult to convince the policy makers. But everyone wants less cost, without investment, without spending. You can't change the system, anything. You have to invest more. We want really quality education. So policy, in fact, the last aspect, if I want to look at it, a teacher, when you take it before that, highly centralized mechanism, regulatory mechanism the policy talks about. See, like school system, they will have a state school regulatory authority that will control the school mechanism, quality ensure. I'll give an example. Say in the university, higher education also they are focusing on. There is a number of mechanisms, regulatory mechanism. Long back in CRT, sorry, long back, the government has brought in, set up NCTE. It's a regulatory mechanism, teacher education. Do you think have improved the quality of education, teacher education? Absolutely not. The way it is going is entirely different path. I don't want to cite so many weaknesses there, but you look into that. The number of institutions multiplied after that. Why it is multiplying? But quality is down. See, these are the points here. Now the question here, I don't know, higher education, same thing. Now they want to say instead of 3-4 year program, then now it will be coming in 4 year. You just bring out lots of ideas on that. You can have a 4-year course, semester, then credit, fine. Even you can carry over. Options are given, the courses. Many such things are there. Exams you can do later. And all mechanisms are coming 4 year. You want to, after 3 year, you can go off. But the 4 year, you can 1 more year, you complete the degree, the specialization, what you call honors. That's all. So in short, yeah, you have a varied mechanisms you adopted. But will you ensure quality or you want to release certifications? Well, you think about it, I share, but I would like to conclude it with 3 videos I'll show you, very brief. The question that you should think about is whether this policy help you to develop the teacher that we invite. The question, teacher, who is a teacher? Really, we should think about it, whether it makes it, whether it helps you to understand. Because 2 years are over, now you see your own teacher, the way you practice teacher education, the way school teachers are practice, see any difference? How is it? Is it based on the policy matters? See, look at it. Now I'll show you one. First, look into it. The best of 1 minute. Wait a minute. Sorry. I'd
like to do, I'd like to share
Stop.
a little story here with you. It's a very tender story. It was sent to me by someone.
Hello, friends. Hello.
Sir.
Can you hear me? Can you hear it?
Yes,
Audible?
yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You are audible.
Not only that, when it comes, this video will come. Did you hear anything?
Yes, sir.
Please listen to carefully. That's a classroom. One person is giving a lecture on a teacher teaching. Okay,
Okay, sir.
listen to that. The first one is a teacher is a lecture. He is explaining the experience of a teacher. Okay, are you hearing it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, listen to that. Okay. Sound.
Sends me beautiful things.
From very beginning. Huh?
I'd like to read this to you, if I can do it without tearing up. And this story illustrates this as well as anything I've ever seen. There's a story many years ago of an elementary school teacher. Her name was Mrs. Thompson. As she stood in front of her 5th grade class on the very first day of school, she told the children a lie. Like most teachers, she looked at her students, said that she loved them all the same. But that was impossible because there in the front row, slumped in his seat, was a little boy named Teddy Stoddard. Mrs. Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he didn't play well with the other children, that his clothes were messy, that he constantly needed a bath. Teddy could be unpleasant. It got to the point where Mrs. Thompson would actually take delight in marking his papers with a broad red pen and making bold X's and then putting a big F at the top of his paper. At the school where Mrs. Thompson taught, she was required to review each child's past records, and she put Teddy's off until last. However, when she reviewed his file, she was in for a surprise. Teddy's 1st grade teacher wrote, "Teddy's a bright child with a ready laugh. He does his work neatly and he has good manners. He's a joy to be around." The 2nd grade teacher wrote, "Teddy's an excellent student, well liked by his classmates, but he's troubled because his mother has a terminal illness and life at home." The teacher wrote, "His mother's death has been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest, and his home life will soon affect him if steps aren't taken." Teddy's 4th grade teacher wrote, "Teddy's withdrawn and doesn't show up much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends, and sometimes he even sleeps in class." By now, Mrs. Thompson realized the problem and she was ashamed of herself. She felt even worse when her students brought her Christmas presents wrapped in beautiful ribbons and bright paper, except for Teddy's. His present was clumsily wrapped in heavy brown paper that he got from the grocery bag. Mrs. Thompson took pains to open it in the middle of the other presents. Some of the children started to laugh when she found a rhinestone bracelet with some of the stones missing and a bottle that was 1/4 full of perfume. But she stifled her children's laughter when she explained how pretty the bracelet was, putting it on and dabbing some of the perfume on her wrist. Teddy Stoddard stayed after school that day just long enough to say, "Mrs. Thompson, today you smell just like my mom used to." After the children left, she cried for at least an hour. On the very day, she quit teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic, and instead, she began to teach children. Mrs. Thompson paid particular attention to Teddy. He worked with him, and his mind seemed to come alive. The more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. By the end of the year, Teddy had become one of the smartest children in the class, and despite her lie, became one of her teacher's pets. A year later, she found a note under the door from Teddy, telling her that she was still the best teacher he ever had in his whole life. 6 years went by before she got another note from Teddy. He then wrote that he had finished high school 3rd in his class, and that she was still the best teacher he ever had in his whole life. 4 years after that, she got another letter saying that while things had been tough at times, he stayed in school and stuck with it, and would soon graduate from college with the highest of honors. He assured Mrs. Thompson that she was still the very best and favorite teacher he ever had in his whole life. Then 4 more years passed, and yet another letter came. This time he explained that after he got his bachelor's degree, he decided to go a little further. The letter explained that she was still the best and favorite teacher he ever had, but now his name was a little longer. The letter was signed Theodore F. Stoddard, MD. But the story doesn't end there. You see, there was yet another letter that spring. Teddy said he'd met this girl and was going to be married. He explained that his father had died a couple of years ago, and he was wondering if Mrs. Thompson might agree to sit in the place at the wedding that was usually reserved for the mother of the groom. Of course, Mrs. Thompson did, and guess what? She wore that bracelet, the one with the several rhinestones missing. And she made sure she was wearing the perfume that Teddy remembered his mother wearing on their last Christmas together. They hugged each other, and Dr. Stoddard whispered in Mrs. Thompson's ear, "Thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I could make a difference." Mrs. Thompson came with tears in her eyes and whispered back, "Teddy, you have it all wrong. You were the one who taught me that I could make a difference. I didn't know how to teach until I met you." beautiful story. Yeah.
Friends, I don't know whether you could understand the meaning of it. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Could you get the message?
Yes,
It
sir.
means, hello,
Yes, sir.
could you get the message from the
Yes,
video?
sir. We can. Yes, sir.
It
We have
means,
goosebumps.
it means basically, as teachers and teacher educators, we try to teach a subject. It is not the subject what importance is. That's what the teacher did. I quit teaching subjects, she says. I started teaching students, children. That means their whole development became important for the teacher. We should focus on the development of a child, his weakness, how to promote it. Then only social justice can be done and equity can be maintained. Equity means every child learns. Then only you can attain social justice in a society. Not equality, equity. Equality, general approach you adopted. Equity comes in, every child learns. You ensure social justice in the society and also development. Each child comes with certain problems. He should be able to understand that a teacher should possess knowledge, content, pedagogy, and values. Do we possess values? Without values, we can't function it. As a teacher, ethics we have to follow. Now listen to the next one, then you will understand it. You take that, the other one, the child. I don't know, the second one, other one, the third one. Where are the student?
Sir, excuse me, sir. Other sir, there is no voice in the video, sir.
Hello, friends,
Yes.
hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Could you get the message of the video, second video?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nothing but a child comes late. That usually a teacher does is punishing. When he comes to know the truth, when you observe the reality, then he changes himself. Hope and then we should not make quick judgment on people, children particularly. We should try to know the truth, the events, the child. Understand him. Try to understand, explore. Then only we'll be able to do it. That's a basic value aspect of it. Do we possess it as a teacher? In the teacher education, do you give any weightage to it? These are the questions that we have to think about it. I think that's very critical. Then only can provide for the whole development of a child. Otherwise, you ignore the child. You're focusing on teaching a child a subject. Whether he learns or not, you don't know. Now you go to the last one, another one, which I want to indicate is basically how a teacher should go on.
Young man went over to another Jew at a wedding. He said, "You remember me?" He said, "I don't remember you. Who are you?" He introduces himself. He says, "You were my student. Third grade. You were my student." "Yeah. Wow, I haven't seen you in so many years. How was your life? What are you involved in?" He says, "I'm a teacher." He says, "Wow, just like me. What inspired you to become a teacher?" "What inspired me to become a teacher was you." He said, "How did I inspire you to become a teacher?" "I saw what an impact you had on me. I realized what an impact I can have on children. I decided to go into education." "What type of impact did I have on you?" He said, "I'll remind you, but I'm sure you remember the story. There was one day that one of my friends got himself, his mother and father bought him a beautiful wristwatch, and I dreamt for a watch, and I didn't have more than one. So I decided to steal his watch and it in his pocket. I took his watch, I stole it. He came into class, so somebody stole his watch. Came complaining to the teacher, somebody stole the watch. So he made an announcement. Whoever took this boy's watch, please return it." I was too embarrassed. I didn't want to return it, so I didn't return it. So we locked the door. He said, "I'm going to have to line everybody up and empty their pockets in order to get back the watch." And that's what you did. I thought to myself, this is going to be the most shameful moment of my life. Now you said, all boys line up at the wall, but I want everybody to have their eyes closed. Everybody's eyes must be closed. We went from pocket to pocket. Everybody's eyes were closed. He came to my pocket, found the watch, he took it out. He went through everybody's pockets with everybody's eyes closed. Then you said, okay, when he can open their eyes, you gave the watch back to its owner. You never, ever said a word to me throughout the entire year. You never mentioned the story. You never mentioned the episode. When I thought to myself how you saved my dignity that day, instead of being stereotyped as a ganem, as a thief, as a shakran, as a liar, as a no good nick, as a despicable child, you really saved my soul. You saved my dignity. You never mentioned the word, not only to anybody else, not only to the owner, but even to me. It happened, it's over. I understood the message. And when I looked at that, I saw it. Wow, this is what a teacher is. This is what a real educator is. This is what I want to do with my life. And therefore, I went into education. The teacher is listening to him and he says, wow, that's amazing. It's really amazing. When he says, but Rebbe, you don't remember. You don't remember. Story I still watch, and when you did, you don't want to embarrass me, see everybody's eyes closed. And I'm the person, he says, actually, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know the story. He says, why not? Like, it's a dramatic story. He says, because I also close my eyes. So I want to bless you and bless all of us. We should be able to be such leaders, such teachers, such parents, such educators, such mashpiyim. Be able to be there for people in this way.
Put back. Hello, friends. Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Now, the
Yes.
friends, the last one, very critical. You should understand. You try to focus on it. That's the dialogue between two people. One is a teacher, was a teacher. Another was a student. The student and teacher, they were meeting after a long period, after a gap of so many years. Then the student tried to communicate, do you know me? First he didn't know, then he said, yeah, you are my student. The teacher says, you are my student. Yeah, right. Then their dialogue, what are you doing and all? He said, I'm a teacher. What in Savadi, why did you? How do you become, or why did you choose to become? Because of you. Pointing to the teacher. Why? Because he inspired me. Then the teacher asked me, how did I? Then he tells the story of how in his class at that time when he was a student, a watch was, one of his friends' watch was lost. It was reported to him. Then he tried to ask, and finally you try to search everyone by asking them to close their eyes, stand facing the wall. He used to search, teacher. Finally, he got from his pocket, took it and gave it to him and went off. He didn't say anything. Teacher. Then he found it. Then he asked him, now the situation asked him, you didn't know about it. He asked the teacher. No, I didn't know about it. Come. You only took from my pocket. It was very embarrassment for me. I thought you would punish me. You should call me a liar. You may ridicule me. And all those things he was thinking. But nothing happened. You didn't say anything. You gave the words. But I found, then he asked why. Then the teacher finally says, I also closed my eyes when I searched your pockets. So I didn't know who did it. Hope you understood that message. It's a wonderful story telling the basic quality of a teacher. He never tried to blame him, not to punish him, not to tell anybody. And the teacher is one who focuses on the child's development, not simply teaching it. You should possess intrinsically, you should possess basic values. Then we can develop. Okay, that's why even the combination, when you take it, you may be extremely brilliant person, but you don't follow punctuality. Good relation with the colleague, they won't hire, they immediately they throw you off, terminate you. Affective domain is important for us. There's a theory called arrows theory. The corporate companies that follow it. So total development is essential. The teachers must focus on it. Essentially, the policy document, if you take it, there are suggestions, but you have to go deeper and reflect critically. If you understand that, there are so many things where though policy doesn't speak it, still policy has certain weakness. We have to overcome it if we want to improve the education, particularly quality of teacher training, quality of teachers, and classroom process. I think we have to reflect critically about the teacher education system. Now, making 4-year program or 2-year, 5 years, and so on doesn't make any much difference unless what we provide under 4 years, what is the curricular aspect, how they are transacted, that is critical. Unless we do that, things will not change. Okay, I'm stop here. It's, I think, close time, friends. If anything else you tell me, when a discussion is there, please tell me. But I don't know whether it's beneficial to you, but I try to give you certain ideas, particularly focusing on the policy aspects. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for all of you and all the participants and all the viewers and all the authorities of the institution for giving an opportunity to share my ideas with you people. Thank you so much. Okay, I left it to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your session definitely changes the ideas and give us the new insight.
So,
Am I audible, sir?
yeah,
So thank you so much, sir. This session definitely give us the new ideas and insight regarding NEP, National Education Policy. Apart from that, we should learn what the role of the teacher in shaping the behavior of the students, and how can we transform and bring about the holistic development of the students, and that makes the difference, sir. I think there is some problem. So if there is any question, I request Neelam Arora ma'am to please ask the question to sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Critical perspectives of NEP. तो इस प्रश्न उत्तर के सेशन में मैं आप सभी का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन करती हूँ। सर, इस सेशन में सभी ने आपको सुना, समझा और समझने के दौरान कुछ क्यूरियोसिटीज उत्पन्न हुई हैं। उन क्यूरियोसिटीज को क्वेश्चंस के रूप में सर मैं आपके सामने प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। सर, टीचर एजुकेशन के बारे में अभी आपने बहुत कुछ कहा, हमने बहुत कुछ समझा, फिर भी एक प्रश्न आया है जिससे हम इसे और स्पष्ट करना चाहते हैं। सर, वो प्रश्न ये है कि व्हाट इज द मेन रोल ऑफ टीचर इन एनईपी 2020?
that's all. Main role.
जी सर।
All right, teacher, that's a basic aspect I told you. Teacher is the one. First, the teacher should cultivate his knowledge base. Once that knowledge base is there, then only he can perform his role. Perform his role means is not simply transmitting information or teaching a subject. A child should be able to his development, provide for his thinking process, provide for his interest development. If any thinking, when it comes, creative process is there, opportunity for the child to develop. But whether you don't have any expertise and allow him to do that, what are the other options he can provide for it? Among the collective effort, which means a child, in fact, progresses in learning, not only learning this, along with the learning, it develops his capabilities. Otherwise, things can't change. So that's why many times you find the children fail. Fail in the sense, not a failure of his own. There's a school has equal responsibility. First, you should recognize it. That's why I say, a child fails, irrespective. Today, you yourself, madam, you ask people, why does a child fail? They invariably answer the fault is the child. Now the teacher won't accept it. Okay, that's the nature of man. Nature of man in the sense that they call it the thinking of the people. He will not accept his own fault. People. So in short, first part is, if you want to play his role well, child's development. Each child, the child, they should develop their potentials. That's you should provide for. In thinking, other capability, if he has it, provide for it. Try to understand the child. Understand means you're not only looking at his weakness, rather positive aspects of it. That's why you should possess basic understanding of pedagogy, content, and also value aspect. As a depth knowledge requires it. But if for that purpose, for example, teacher educator, you ask children to follow constructivism, say, or teacher educators, you teach discovery method or inquiry approach. Do you actually hold your classes based on inquiry approach and discovery method? Usually you lecture them. So teacher, when he goes, he will also lecture only. He will not adopt this whatever written in there. For that is for a degree purpose, they use it. Actual classroom will not be a discovery or inquiry. It's only your lectures. What is given in the book, transmit. So whole tragedy comes in. We want to develop a teacher. He has to perform. What is expected to do depends on teacher education system. What teacher educators practice. Actually, there is a response in the policy. It not mentioned the teacher educator's role. Nowhere mentioned. Usually policies talk about what teachers do, not teacher educators. There are assumptions and the underpinnings are there. Anyway, I told you what I should tell you. Rest depends on you need to change. Teacher educators need to change. Without that, kuch nahi ho sakta. Thank you.
सर एक प्रश्न और है सर, एक प्रश्न हमने और लिया है. ये प्रश्न है, how will an internship with vocational education be implemented from class 6? कैसे हम implement करें? सर मैं प्रश्न एक बार फिर से बोलती हूँ. How will an internship with vocational education be implemented from class 6?
Is it for a vocational education B.Ed group or general vocation B.Ed group?
Sir, class 6 में तो हम किस तरह?
Now they are introducing, I have a B.Ed vocational. Is it that student or general B.Ed student?
Sir, general B.Ed student.
Okay. Now, what level of vocation, this internship, what do you expose the children to do in class 6, 7, 8? What are the things you try? Are we exposing them to some sort of field of activity? What you are trying to take is syllabus. What is in the syllabus? Can you tell me?
Sir, syllabus में तो class 6 में ये कहा गया है कि हम छोटे छोटे vocations के meanings उनके सामने रखें बच्चों के सामने, जिससे वो शुरुआती दौर में इनकी समझ उनको बने कि कौन कौन से vocations उनकी सोसाइटी में है और किस किस तरह का शिल्प है, किस किस तरह का क्राफ्ट है उनके पास, वो इस पर अपनी उसको देख पाएं और समझ पाएं.
Well, listen, what you can generally do that depending on what you practice in the school. Okay. One group, what you can do is, which are the occasions they are available within the locality. That you get it in a feel of the children. One through the stories, another through films or shorts, visuals is showing the child, or taking them to that small children are there. See, interesting, you can see that these sort of familiarize them. So any mechanism which is convenient for the teacher, visuals, telling stories, asking children also, there are children coming from such families where they're doing it. Ask them to tell what father does or brother does, sister, mother does, and so on. So this give an opportunity, one child narrates such incidents, other children can also understand, they share each other. This is the one way of familiarize. Or short, everywhere it's not possible to show films. At least some sort of visuals are there, photo. Show it. Okay. So this is the one way of getting it. Otherwise, you make a visit to them nearby. Its place is there. In each village, please understand, is a serious house, a village is or an area is location. Human settlement is a rich source for occasion aspect. Without occasion, they can't survive. all sorts of things. A craft is there, or some other form occasions exist. What is then the people do? Why do they do? Without that, how can they survive? These sort of small things they can put it and find. Even a dairy farm, there are people in rural areas that do dairy farm. Keeping a cow, how it's essential for their life. How this can be linked to their life. So they tell small stories, children can be familiarized. So one thing is familiarization through visuals. Children at this stage are more visuals and communication. Multisensory, everything is not possible. Visuals are there, easy to concretely they can understand. That's why there is. Okay.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. अब समय है इस प्रोग्राम की जो सफलता का श्रेय हम उन सभी को दे जो हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, यानी कि आभार प्रदर्शन का. नेशनल लेक्चर सीरीज के इस प्रोग्राम में आज हमें मार्गदर्शन प्राप्त हुआ प्रोफेसर M.A. खादर सर का. सर, आप एक व्यक्तित्व ही नहीं, अपने आप में एक इंस्टीट्यूशन है, एक यूनिवर्सिटी है.
नहीं भाई.
हम बहुत पहले से आपके पीछे पीछे आए हैं, आपका फीचा कर रहे हैं, आपसे सीख रहे हैं, और उसी का परिणाम है कि आज हमने आपको अपने साथ पाया है और आपसे एनईपी के क्रियान्वयन के संबंध में, उनके फंक्शन के संबंध में आपसे बहुत कुछ सीखा है, एक समझ हमें मिली है. आपने आज जो समझ हमें दी है उससे हम अपने आगे की जो मंजिलें हैं वो तय कर पाएंगे. आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत आभार. हम आभारी हैं जन प्रगति सोसाइटी के सचिव श्री हरजीत सिंह हुरा के. आज जो किसी कारणवश हमारे बीच उपस्थित नहीं हो पाए, लेकिन उनकी प्रेरणा हमें हमेशा मिलती रहती है. हम आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं. हम शुक्रगुजार हैं विभिन्न संस्थाओं से जुड़े हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स का. इतनी संख्या में वो हमसे जुड़ते हैं, ये हमें हमेशा सक्रिय बनने की प्रेरणा देता है, और प्रेरणा देता है कि आगे हम इस तरह के और भी प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज करें जिनसे हमारी जो कैपेसिटी है वो बढ़े. इस नेशनल लेक्चर सीरीज की परिकल्पना हमारे डिपार्टमेंट के प्रिंसिपल डॉक्टर अरुण कुमार दुबे ने की थी. न सिर्फ परिकल्पना की, उसे वास्तविक धरातल भी प्रदान किया. आज हम दूसरे दिन इस कार्यक्रम की सफलता पर पहुंचे हैं. आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर. दिन प्रतिदिन, मिनट प्रति मिनट इस विस्तृत श्रृंखला को संभालने की जिम्मेदारी हमारे विभाग के वाइस प्रिंसिपल डॉक्टर अभा दुबे जी, जिनके कारण ये सारा का सारा प्रोग्राम आत्म अनुशासन के साथ संचालित होता है. आपका भी बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करते हैं. हम आभारी अपने टीचिंग और नॉन टीचिंग स्टाफ के, जिनके निरंतर प्रयासों से हम सफलता की सीढ़ियां तय करते जा रहे हैं. और फिर हम आभारी हैं अपने बहुत ही प्रिय स्टूडेंट टीचर्स के, जो हमारी प्रेरणा के मुख्य स्रोत हैं, जिनकी उपस्थिति हमें ताजगी और स्फूर्ति से भर देती है. एक बार फिर हम आप सभी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं. धन्यवाद आपका बहुत बहुत.
धन्यवाद. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सर.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we end the meeting.
Over.
Hello. At the end of this session, I would like to ask a technical person to please end this meeting. Thank you so much, sir, once again, on behalf of entire Columbia family.
Okay, then cut off. Okay, shall we stop? All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So nice.